And remember, folks, if you are the Mets, you gotta knock on wood right now. Ow! It is Memorial Day, and of course, that is a very important day in our nation's history. Of course, as we remember the lives and the sacrifices made by those who serve in all branches of the military. But it is also, from the baseball standpoint, one of those points in the year that a lot of people look at the standings and say, hey, where's your team doing now? Where are they at right now in the chase for the playoffs? So let's take a little look at that as we look at where the Yankees and the Mets are here on this Memorial Day. So the Yankees right now at 29 and 25. They have been scuttling so far, at least as of late. They are one of those teams this year that has really been sketchy to watch. Kind of like the Mets in a lot of ways. They have some good games. They have some bad games. They, of course, like a lot of teams in baseball, swinging for the fence and trying to hit a lot of home runs. And on for them, not scoring a lot of runs this year. They're one of the worst teams in the league in scoring offense in runs scored this year in Major League Baseball. Get into more of that in a minute, but over the last 7 games, the Yankees are 1-6, and that is including getting swept by the Detroit Tigers this past weekend, and then losing this afternoon to the Tampa Bay Rays by a score of 3-1. This is how sketchy they have been as a team. They're only averaging about 1.9 runs a game during these last 7 games. They scored only 8 runs in the six losses, and totaled 8 runs in the 6 losses they have had in this stretch, and that's after scoring about a little over 4 runs a game during their 6-game winning streak. When it looked like everything was turning around for the Yankees, they get the no-hitter by Corey Kluber. They have that 3-game sweep of the Chicago White Sox, who were at the time the best team in the American League. And you're thinking, well, it looks like the Yankees are starting to turn things around. Here they go. But it has not been the case. This team has been so streaky all year. Start of the year 5-10, and then from April 19th to May 23rd. You see the graphic up there on the screen. April 19th to May 23rd, including that stretch where they had a 6-game winning streak, 23-9, which was at the time, believe it or not, the best record in baseball during that stretch, 23-9, and now since that point, 1-6. Now, their big problem, of course, has been trying to catch the Tampa Bay Rays in this AL East, and the Yankees have struggled against the entire division this year, and they haven't even played the Red Sox. They are 12-17 against the AL East and 3-7 against Tampa Bay. And just looking at when these two teams play, it's almost like two different teams. You got a Yankee team right now that can't seem to find any consistency as far as their offense is concerned. Their pitching is okay. They've had some guys who've had, of course, outside of Garrett Cole, it's okay. That's about it. Garrett Cole being the best part of this Yankee rotation. But you watch the Rays, and they're just a team that looks like it has that kind of fire. I mean, you see these kind of teams, and I know it's only May, it's going into June. We got a long way to go until the end of the season. But, man, the Rays they just know how to hit in the clutch. They know how to pitch in big games. They just have so many guys that are having solid years. I mean, Randy Arozarena continues to play very well and be a big impact guy. Had a big RBI in the game this afternoon against the Yankees. Austin Meadows is having a solid year, even though the batting average isn't there. I mean, they have so many guys up and down their lineup that just cause problems for opponents. They look like a team, and the way they've been playing, I think they've won 16 out of their last 17 or 17 out of 18, whatever it is. They're on a 5-game winning streak, bottom line. They look like a team that has that we want to get back to the World Series because we want to make up for last year kind of mode right now. And I know it's only June. It's only June 1st now. But they just have that look of a team that is going to be very, very difficult to beat over the course of the year. Now, the Yankees right now have a long way to go to even look like they could be a team that could push into the playoffs, because outside of Aaron Judge, nobody for this Yankee team is really hitting the baseball all that well. I mean, you take a look at them just as a team. Right now, 23rd in Major League Baseball in batting average at 230. They're tied with Miami for 22nd in runs scored with 201. They're 22nd in the league in baseball in hits, and they're 27th in RBIs. I mean, they're really they're really near the bottom half of the league in all these categories, and no one has really been consistent. DJ LeMahieu, who's having a down year for him, he's hitting only 262, 3 home runs, 14 RBIs. Gio Urshela's had his moments, but again, only hitting 257. Gleyber Torres has had his moments, but only hitting 259. And then you take a look at the other guys like Clint Frazier, Gary Sanchez, who just can't seem to get their season started. It's a problem right now for them. And as I said, outside of Aaron Judge, who has been their best player, there it is. He's hitting 300 on the year, 13 home runs, 29 RBIs. He's the only Yankee right now with a 300 batting average on the team. That's it. 326 in the month of May with 31 hits, 6 home runs, 14 RBI. He has been basically the only guy on this team. Now, before he got injured, Giancarlo Stanton was also having a big month of May and was carrying the team. Then he got injured, now has just come back. He's 0 for 8 since coming back off the injury list. But they need more guys to be more consistent if they're going to get this thing turned around offensively. They have the talent to do it. A lot of people expect them to do so. They're going to certainly be in the mix all year, you would have to think. I think the two biggest, of course, the concerns right now are injuries starting to pile up for the Yankees. Losing Corey Kluber till at least end of July with the shoulder problem. The Yankees are not going to see him, but that's the gamble that the Yankees took in bringing in Corey Kluber, who has that history. And now they're not going to have him for a couple of months, and they're going to have to rely on guys like Jameson Taillon, who has struggled for the most part this year. Really has been a 5-inning pitcher for the last month now. Jordan Montgomery has been up and down. You're looking at Michael King, getting maybe another look at him. Domingo Germán has been up and down as well. Really, everybody outside of Garrett, not named Garrett Cole, has been inconsistent in this rotation. So there's a concern there now in the pitching rotation for them moving forward. Luke Voigt now with an oblique strain. Don't know how long he's going to be out. And now Aaron Hicks. My God, would the Yankees like to get out of that contract? Wow. $70 million over 7 years. He signed 2 years ago. And the guy never stays healthy. Now he's got a wrist injury. Could be out for the season. Man, they got a lot of problems over there in the Bronx. So, the Yankees, right now, 29-25. You would expect them to turn things around soon. But this is a big week for them. They get the Rays. They get the Red Sox to follow that this week. They need to figure it out and figure it out fast. Meanwhile, the Mets, let's go over to them. They're in a position that they're happy right now. They're 25-20. They're in first place in the NL East. And they continue, unlike the Yankees, who have had an issue trying to find guys to get big hits in big spots. Mets are getting big hits from everybody, and mostly from guys you never even heard of. That's what's been going on for them from the Mets standpoint. They just have been remarkable from the standpoint because they get so many contributions from so many guys. For a while this year, it was Jonathan Pilar, Kevin Pillar and Jonathan Villar. Villar is still hitting the baseball with authority. He's hitting over 300 the last 7 games with 10 RBIs. But now you're seeing guys like Jose Peraza just coming up from the minor leagues, getting big hits. Brandon Drury, a former Blue Jay, guy's been in the league, bouncing around all over the place. He's had a couple of home runs, including a big home run against the Atlanta Braves on Saturday night. Billy McKinney, Mets pick him up in a trade for virtually nothing with Milwaukee. He gets a big 3-run home run the other night. So, I mean, these guys that you really haven't heard of because this team is so decimated by injuries, contributing in big ways, and the Mets keep finding ways to win. The Mets with their biggest offensive output of the year the other day against the Atlanta Braves, 13 runs in a 13-2 win. And the big question for the Mets is this. Are they going to start to get some guys to come off of the injury list? And 2, are we starting to see James McCann and Francisco Lindor start to heat up? James McCann, the last 7 games, is hitting at .353, 6 hits, 17 RBIs. He has a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. I know it says right next to him that Lindor is hitting .167 in the last 7 games, but keep in mind in the last 2 games he has 3 hits and 8 at-bats, and one of them was being a home run, a 2-run home run. The Mets would love to see these 2 guys, the 2 guys they spent so much money on in the offseason, finally get it going, especially with the schedule they have coming up. We'll get into more of that in a minute. The other big key for them is it sounds like they're going to start to get some guys back. Luis Guillorme is going to begin a rehab assignment. J.D. Davis expected to do a AAA assignment this week. Seth Lugo is going to be reinstated from the 60-day IL today, so we may see him. Pete Alonso could be back today. He was expected back yesterday. They didn't play yesterday because of the rain. So he's on his way back, and Kevin Pillar could be back, even with the facial injury, could be back sometime this week, maybe even next week, so he's coming back as well very soon. Tommy Hunter, a reliever, also on his way back, so very soon. So they're getting some guys back onto the roster that are going to be very, very important. The problem is they still have some key pieces that are going to be out for a while. Noah Syndergaard. Talked about it with Corey Kluber being a guy who is a problem right now for the Yankees, being an injury. Well, right now Noah Syndergaard is a problem from the Mets standpoint as far as his injury coming back from the Tommy John surgery, elbow inflammation, and he'll be shut down for a while, maybe until August. We may not see Noah Syndergaard until that point. That's unfortunate because the Mets were hoping to get him back in June, that he would be a big contributor to this team moving forward down the middle of the year, and now you may not see Noah Syndergaard on the hill until August, and that's a huge problem. Now, the one thing that is a bonus to the Mets from this standpoint is that they have guys like DeGrom, Taijuan Walker, and Marcus Stroman all pitching great right now. I mean, these three guys have been lighting it up. Stroman, a 2.47 ERA. Walker, 1.84 ERA. And, of course, DeGrom, 0.80 ERA. Those guys are carrying it right now. Because, what? We'll get there. But right now, with Syndergaard out for a while longer, Carlos Carrasco, who was also supposed to be in this rotation, out until July, Mets need those three starters to continue to carry them forward. We'll see if the Mets have to make a move come July, or maybe they just wait. And the way things are going, they're getting contributions from everybody, for that matter, that you haven't heard of, so as I said. But also Michael Conforto and Jeff McNeil both out until late June, early July with their hamstring injuries. So that's the bad as far as the rehabbing is concerned from the Mets standpoint. Now, someone said to me in the corner of my mind, I heard it somewhere. What about Edwin Diaz? Yes, Edwin Diaz in the Mets bullpen has been fantastic. I can't believe I'm going to say that. You better knock on wood. Somebody knock on wood, because chances are now he's going to give up like 7 runs or something now because of that. Because Diaz has been great, 9 for 9 in save opportunities. In fact, the bullpen in and of itself has been fantastic. I can't believe I'm saying that either. Jurius Emilia has been pitching well. Trevor May, even though it's a struggle to watch him pitch, has been pitching fairly well. Sean Reed Foley has done a nice job. Thank you. Has done a nice job coming out of the bullpen in long relief. So they have been phenomenal. Diaz looks like another pitcher. He looks like a totally different pitcher than we saw 2 years ago, where he was giving up home runs all over the place, and even last year. He's got gas, throwing like 99, 100 miles an hour. He has been phenomenal coming out of the bullpen. So that's why the Mets right now find themselves in first. Their pitching has been excellent. They've gotten contributions from just about everybody, and that's why they find themselves in first place in the National League East. Now, the catch is their schedule is going to be brutal coming up. They are on the road. They're going to be playing the Arizona Diamondbacks this week, tonight, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And then Thursday through Sunday, they take on the best team in the National League. Dodgers? No, not the Dodgers. The San Diego Padres. The Mets will play 7 games in the next 2 weeks against the San Diego Padres. They'll play 4 in San Diego this upcoming weekend, and then 3 next weekend back here at Citi Field. And that series at home against the Padres will be quickly followed by the Chicago Cubs coming into town for 4 games after that. Sandwiched in between all of this, you get 2 games with Baltimore. I don't know how that works, but there you go. But it's going to be a telling couple of weeks going into the month of June before the Mets see their division rivals again. They'll see Washington and Atlanta at the end of the month a lot. With the Padres, a lot of Padres, and of course the Cubs after that. So we shall see. It's going to be if the Mets want to show that they can tussle with the big boys, they're going to get their chance very, very quickly here with the San Diego Padres on the schedule. Let's just be honest. I just talked about the Tampa Bay Rays being that team that has that look of a World Series contender. Padres have that look in the West. I mean, so do the Dodgers and the Giants as well. That entire Western division in the NL East is scary good. Scary good. So, we'll see how things play out. So, you know what to do, folks. You see that subscribe button on the bottom right of the screen. You got to hit that subscribe button, because you're going to get some great content, and we've got a lot of great content coming up on this channel, and of course over the next several weeks, months for that matter. A lot of good stuff coming. Remember to like and subscribe to the Sports Talk Nation, and also follow us on the social media at OpenMicNJ on Twitter, Facebook.com/OpenMicProgram. Just keep hitting the like button, hitting the subscribe button. Do whatever you got to do to help us out. We'll talk to you next time, folks. See you next time.